Well, I was a historian. I was a history professor at 2 colleges. Then I became a dean of students at a small college just south of here called Hendrix College. And but while I was doing that, I used to bring students up to Meadow Creek. And while we were at Hendrix, in a cooperation with Meadow Creek, we started the first in the nation local food project. We started buying local food for our cafeteria. And that was such a good project that I finally left being a dean of students and actually moved up to Meadow Creek, and we started promoting that all over the country. I have another stint. I actually worked for the Humane Society in New York. I was a director, in Washington, I was a director of sustainable agriculture. And, the whole idea of getting back small farming who don't endanger the environment, who are growing healthy food, it's very important we get back to that, and I'm happy to say that all over the country now, local foods have made a real impact. I was in a Kroger store the other day and they had a big sign up, "We buy from local farmers." That never would have happened. We kind of got that start. So that's how I got involved in this.
Well, we come here as farmers, and we do herbs, and we've opened up a manufacturing kitchen for the farm, and in Arkansas they call that a value-added farm, so that's what we are. And we cook everything that we grow, we manufacture and put into food, like salsa and soup and marinara and pesto and all kinds. I think we got 9 or 10 different recipes approved by the state of Arkansas.
Are there different challenges to growing herbs as opposed to other vegetables or produce?
Well, it's definitely a challenge to grow produce here. We know why people want to be cattle farmers. You got a lot of rocks.
Everything's a little different. Sometimes we got some herbs that they come back every year, flourish, they do great, and others, you can't keep them alive. We propagate some stuff like rosemary, and we can get them to propagate in the root, and they do great for 1 year, but then over winter they die off, so we got to redo it. Others, it just comes back. So it's it's the same with plants. This year we got a great year with tomatoes and beans and lettuce and potatoes, but last year we couldn't get potato one. Tomatoes weren't that good. So every year something makes it great, and the next year that bombs, but something else picks up the pace. So it's just here and there, hit and miss, and you can't predict the weather.
What we're really into right now is the farming, as you heard Tim and Eliza say, but also we're getting into ag tourism and mostly in the arts. So we have musicians come down and play on our barn. We have artists who are creating art pieces out in the woods, and we have studios now for artists to work up in one of the dormitories. But mostly, and I do this with the Nature Conservancy and the Humane Society, we want to get city people out here to understand why nature is important and why preserving these kind of places is important, not only for all the issues we face with climate change, but just because it's necessary.
Yeah, I think people, this is something I've seen. It may not be what everybody's saying. It's people who want to get back to nature, get back to the things of the earth, get back to getting out of the rat race of the city life and get down to what life really is. We have a jealousy toward the church to get out of those 4 walls and get down to the earth where we have been called to. And I've had 2 groups come down here, and they have fell in love because they get back to the earth, and the peace that they get is unbelievable. If you believe in God and you're in the city and you're going on this rat race merry-go-round constantly, you never really know the peace of God. But when you come down here, you can't escape it. You get to experience it. That's good. I like that.
I'd vote for you.
I like that.
So as far as you, where did you grow up? Are you from Arkansas originally?
No, I'm from Iowa, northern Iowa. And while I didn't grow up on a farm, I lived 2 blocks away from one. And all my relatives were farmers. So yeah, I grew up in a agriculture state in a time when we ate out of our gardens. We had good food and that kind of thing. So that's my background. I worked in Iowa for a while at a college there, went to college there and worked in the college. Then I ended up down at Hendricks, and that's how I got to Arkansas.
As a younger person, did you spend a lot of time in nature?
As growing up all the time. I mean, I grew up on a prairie, but we had 2 rivers coming to a fork right below our hometown. So I had the river banks and to explore and the woods, and absolutely, I spent every waking moment that I could from time I was just able to walk almost out in nature. Absolutely. And the nice thing when I grew up, of course, nobody had to pay attention to me. I could go anywhere I wanted. It's not like today where you have to have play dates and all those kind of things. I could just roam free and come home pretty much when I wanted. So.
Tim, you said you were from Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
What drew you into farming?
Well, I landscaped with my brothers. We had a landscaping company, and they still do. And I met Eliza about, I don't even know, 12 years ago or so, and we ended up building our relationship. And I, after landscaping and growing the shrubs and beautifying homes, I just got to the point, I want to start to grow food, something that's to look at, something you could eat, something you could, produce and have, more value than just to look at. And so, and Eliza was sort of the same way. And, we're also looking at the times where, it's possible that things going on in the world that pretty soon, we may get to the point more and more we got to be able to learn how to produce our own food and rely on stuff like that. So it just seemed like a move in the right direction and just wisdom, just to take my abilities from growing landscape and shrubs and move it to growing vegetables and fruits and herbs and whatnot.
Was it an adjustment for you coming from a city like Pittsburgh to live in a small rural area?
Not really. I'm sort of, I was one of the shyest persons in our school district. So in our high school, that was one of my claim to fame in my high school year, which I'm not proud of, but. So I don't mind being alone or being isolated or in nature, because we had a place that was sort of in the suburbs but still back away in the woods, and so I enjoyed the nature and even the seclusion. So no, as far as that, the biggest thing is the heat and humidity, and not even so much the heat, just the humidity.
Yeah.
You got to go out and work in the garden, and your boots and your socks are soaking wet by 8 o'clock, and it's just like, man, this is hard to get used to. But anyway, so not really overall.
Do you guys love what you do?
Of course.
Yeah, it has its challenges, but
not just love it, we live it. That's our life.
Bye. Thanks again. We'll see you later.
Thank y'all.
You're welcome.
Thanks for thinking of us.
What people do up here in the country, though, they see somebody, they pull up.
Oh, yeah.
Especially on gravel road, because it's got to be a neighbor. Either one or two things, either your neighbor, or you make sure they don't have none of your stuff. Right? That's it.
Yeah. Well, you got two kinds of people.
Like I said, I got a saying, it's like the worst day in the mountains beats the best day in the hood. That's for sure.
Lived in the hood when I was real young. My old man moved us to Dallas for about 3-4 years. I got 6 brothers. I'm the oldest of 7 boys. Old man realized that city life wasn't for us boys. We was getting in too much trouble. Wasn't that we was getting in too much trouble? We lived in a city where there's more people to see us do it.
Yeah, it's not getting in trouble, it's getting caught.
Getting caught.
Yeah. I hate that when that happens. But, I'm about ready to eat. They had this thing today, says, what made you learn how to cook? And I said, being hungry.
My old man, my stepdad, my mama married the boogeyman when I was 8 years old. He's hardcore. Being ex-military, grew up farming and ranching. And if you run the farm and the ranch, the house, everything was run military. And I didn't realize this till a few years ago. No Army buddy of mine, he said, wake up call was what time? I said, we got up at 5 o'clock no matter what. Some chores around the house, breakfast from 6 to 7, and then we went to work. He says, that's military time. He said, what time did you go to bed? I said, well, in the wintertime, we had them little gas heaters all through the house. At 10 o'clock, the old man turned them heaters off, and you wasn't allowed to put no more wood on the fire pit, on the fireplace. 10 o'clock was lights out. Well, dadgum, man. My problem, and then I did 3 years during the Vietnam War, and I was never able to stop soldiering until this. I still roll my socks and my T-shirt.
You know, back then, we had quilts. We didn't have central heat.
That's
Not
right.
like that. We get on. If it got the colder it got, you throw another quilt on. That was it.
A quilt.
And quilt.
And
Mom and
fireplace.
Grandma made it.
I got, like I said, I got 6 brothers, and all of us slept in one room. I had 5 brothers slept in a queen size bed. The fireplace was in our room. One morning I woke up to the smell of gasoline. My brother standing there, grin on his face, and the kitchen match, fixing one of the big kitchen matches. I smelled that. I pulled that quilt up over my head. Poof. Had wallpaper. Would actually breathe. He burnt the wallpaper off the wall. Cleaned the chimney out. But to this day, I don't move when I sleep. And I was telling somebody about that, and they wonder why. I said, because back in the day, all you had was a quilt, no heat. Once you got a warm spot, you didn't move. Well, if you moved, you hit a cold spot and it'd wake you up. Can't do that. So you don't move. I sure did. I woke up and he burnt everything, eyebrows and hair from here forward. Mama put Vaseline on his face, which I think only made it blister more.
What are these things, man? We've been seeing these everywhere, dude.
Tostadas.
Tostadas.
They're pretty good.
Yeah, people must like them down here in Arkansas.
They do. See those truck stops a lot. Tostadas.
Oh, yeah, that's it. Got it midair. That's lucky.
Look at there, I stepped on that one.
They must be drunk. They don't got the moonshine.
They're awful this year. Got him.
When I quit making moonshine, I'll let y'all guys taste some of it. Last quarter I had some of my customers come in. They all tasted it. And they were going, man, you can fire that still back up. I said, nope, it's going to get me in trouble. I had my grandpa and my daddy's recipe. They said that's some of the best liquor they ever tasted. I'd done peaches for the flavor. Used to at Christmas though, I'd make apricot moonshine. Put it in like, mix it in with the that milk stuff. What do you call it?
Coffee mate?
No. At Christmas time, you put
Eggnog.
Eggnog. That's it. That was good too. People would drink that and they start nogging off. Start dancing and singing, and it was real good for making people happy. Happy.
Did you learn that from your dad?
The what?
Did you learn that from your dad?
I'm sorry.
Did you learn distilling from your dad?
Yeah, my grandpa. They back during Prohibition days. Used to, if you could outrun a cop on foot, you could get home. But if you got caught, it was a year and a day. So they had a bunch of buddies. One of them got caught while he was doing his year and a day. All the other people took care of their families. My daddy was one of the fastest runners in the county.
That's where you got that from.
Yep.
He's a good run. Was.
Grandpa was pretty fast too. So they never caught Grandpa or Daddy. So but they made some good motion.
I was trying to figure out if it was you or Martha talking to me. I was like,
Oh, on the phone.
yeah,
Yeah, we sound alike.
you really do.
We got too much stuff downstairs, but the upstairs is pretty well set up. It's kind of neat the way the roof drops, but I don't have any handrails going up the steps. and
I've
going
been
down
looking for banisters and handrails for you.
I don't need you to look.
You already got some?
Well, what I'm gonna do is go down here and find some cedar, cut it in pole lengths, and I'm gonna split it. Use some of it for the rail up, and then the handrails are gonna be on the split cedar.
Oh, that'll be neat.
Yeah, I know, but I hadn't put it up there because I had stuff like that headboard. I had to get it out of there. I couldn't do it with banisters.
Oh.
And I'm gonna lengthen that one part over just about 18 inches. So before I do that. But when we get done with this project, I'll put the siding on, then we'll wash the whole thing down. Yeah.
How far away do you think from finishing?
Probably October, because I'm going to get this filled in, and then I'll probably haul off plumbing the rest of it till it cools off. I'm not in a hurry because I don't have to be. So there you go. Eventually I'm going to have me one of them double tank outside showers. And I'll have me an outhouse right over here.
Have to move build a deck on the side because there was so much rock when he went to when they went to dig the holes, you know, to put the sewer.
Tank.
Couldn't go any further because
Solid
of
sheet of rock.
solid rock.
But I'll make it work. But if you'd like to, step on in and see what country looks like. That's
Will
a
you
little
give us a
house.
little tour?
It'll be a little tour, that's for sure.
It will be a little tour.
Hold on, give me one sec.
So his refrigerator is going to go behind that wall over there. And then of course the toilet will be moved into the bathroom that eventually will be there. And he's got a stove and a microwave that he'll set up here as the kitchen. And so anyway, we've got, as he said, he didn't have the banisters put up because he is going to, they had to move things up and down. And Monday they moved this big huge headboard that was across up there. That was a job getting it down. So anyway, y'all be careful going up the stairs. If you fall. It's a neat little place. So it's big enough for his bed and TV and stereo system. But he's said that the ceiling was sort of unusual, you know, so anyway. I want him to paint the whole thing white instead of these colors.
He's got an interesting choice of bedspread.
Yes, he does. So anyway, I worked up here the other day because they had the big headboard that somebody had given him, I guess, and it was sitting down there. And anyway, he's giving it to they're going to have some type of fundraiser for this guy that got hurt on four-wheeler or a motorcycle or something. So anyway, they're going to sell that and try to make some money too with it. So anyway.
Do you think Charlie's estimate of October is
I don't know. I don't see how. I've known him for a year and a half. We met at, I help at the conference center on decorating. And so anyway, I had lost my husband a year and a half before that. And anyway, I hadn't even been out, you know, and so we had a New Year's Eve party. And so I had helped decorate for that. And so anyway, they said, "Are you going to come to the New Year's Eve party?" I said, "No, I haven't been out, you know, since I lost my husband." I said, "I'd have to come by myself." They said, "No, come and sit at the staff table." So I went to the staff, went there, you know, it was the Roaring Twenties party. So I was dressed like a flapper, you know, and so CO was sitting over by himself at another table. He didn't know too many people, so they invited him to come over, and he danced with all the women. He's a really good dancer. So that's how we started dating and had a really experience, that last year doing all those things, at my age. So anyway, but he's had this place and it hadn't gotten too much work done on it until the last few months. So anyway.
What did you think of Charlie the first time you met him?
Oh, I thought he was very attractive and nice, and then when we danced, anyway, he was just a great dancer out on the dance floor, and I told this table of people that were there at the party, I said, I feel like I've been on Dancing with the Stars after dancing with him. And so anyway, we would go to Bogey's, and they had a band there on Thursday nights, and so anyway, that's how we started dating, is dancing. So anyway, he's a lot of fun. Very knowledgeable guy. Nice little house. I told him about how we met. He's a dancer.
So I heard you got some dance moves.
Well, I've been accused of that.
He is a good
It's
dancer.
just an Indian thing. Just make like you're on the warpath and shake a leg. That's it.
Were you
We'll
always a
lock up.
dancer?
Huh?
Were you always a dancer?
Yep. I got adopted when I was 4.5, and my adopted dad, he was a caller, played harmonica, and was a caller at square dances. So we go to the first dance, as they're showing my little sister and I off because they adopted both of us. Here I was, snaggletooth, Buster Brown haircut, little vest, black jacket with a bow tie. They take a break and somebody's up there playing them, fiddling, hoedown music. They look over, I'm over there just a getting it. So then, about 3 or 4 times a night, every time we'd go have a dance, somebody'd yell, "Wash tub!" I was on, because they'd bring a wash tub back there and I'd dance on the wash tub. So that's where I started. Wash tub Charlie, there you go. But
and his mother was a teacher in Sunday school, and some of the girls would need an escort to the dances, and so they would get to see out Charlie to
they go
take
to my
all
mom and say, "Lillian, you think Charlie would take my daughter to a spring dance?" Nobody else is going to, trust me. But anyway, my mom says, "Oh, he would love to." I had my own tuxedo out of the deal, though. I went to every spring dance, barn dance. I went to 3 or 4 proms a year, and but it was interesting. My mom kept me hooked up.
You were an in-demand prom date.
Oh, I tell you, but I learned something. A lot of the more attractive girls, because when I took a girl to the prom, I was old-fashioned. Plus, if I hadn't done what I was supposed to do, my mama would have beat me when I got home. But I was very tentative. I didn't dance with anybody else. I always dance with the one that brung you, and that you brung, or brung you. And I'd be very attentive. But they'd see, they knew that girl wasn't my cup of tea, but they thought it was so nice. And I learned something that I could use out of the deal further in life. There you go. Everything is bad, you can turn around and get a positive outcome to it.
So this is on film. They can see where we're hiding the key.
If they come all the way up here, they learn.
No. Like there's something that they want. Well, there's a new refrigerator in there and whatever else.
Yeah, I got that refrigerator from Home Depot. I come walking around a corner over Home Depot, and some dog had puked. Next thing I seen was my feet up there.